Hello friends, I am Manish Maharshi, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Government Dunga College, Bikaner. This is the 11th video in the series of poem Andre del Sarto by Robert Browning. Andre del Sarto, written by Robert Browning, is also subtitled as The Faultless Painter by the poet. As we have already discussed that Robert Browning is famous for his dramatic monologues, and this dramatic monologue Andre del Sarto remains one of the finest example of his artistic achievements. As we go through this dramatic monologue, we find that it is a work of remarkably artistic achievement. The setting is evoked through the words spoken by Andre himself. We feel the presence of the listener, that is, Andre's wife Lucrezia. Sometimes she smiles, shows her indifference, sometimes she turns away with a look of inquiry towards Andre. We hear the whistle of the cousin and sense his presence in the background. Besides this, there is other things which we come to know about through the words of Andre himself. We see the French king and his courtiers praising Andre, and the Paris noblemen in Florence ignoring or insulting Andre on the streets. All this is presented through the words of a single character. So now we will move forward in this poem and discuss the remaining stanzas of the poem. Now, first I will read out the stanza and then we will discuss this. And indeed, the arm is wrong. I hardly dare, yet only you to see. Give the chalk here, quick. Thus the line should go. But the soul, he is Raphael, rub it out. Still, all I care for, if he spoke the truth. What he? Why? Who but Michelangelo? Do you forget already words like those? If really there was such a chance, so lost is whether you are not grateful, but more pleased. Well, let me think so, and you smile indeed. This hour has been an hour. Another smile, if you would sit thus by me every night. I should work better. Do you comprehend? I mean that I should earn more, give you more. As we see in this stanza, that Andre, in his previous lines, have already boasted about his and technical skill in painting. So here he says that he tells Lucrezia that he is superior to Raphael in technical aspect of art. If one compares the the two painters in respect of technicalities, the technical aspect of the poem painting, then Andre is far more better than Raphael. But as far as the divine inspiration, an element that is far more superior in any art form is not with Andre, it is with Raphael. He says that Raphael had drawn the arm of the Madonna wrongly, and hesitant to touch the work of such a great artist, Andre nevertheless wants his wife to see him correct the drawing. He takes a piece of chalk and quickly corrects the arm's position. But soon he realizes that his technical perfection cannot match the spiritual fervor and life of Raphael's art. He rubs out his correction in anguish, for these technical shortcomings are not significant where the soul is right. We see in these lines that Andre is clearly aware of his shortcoming, and he respects the greatness of Raphael's art. But in any case, says Andre, he would feel happy even at having lost the chance of becoming a great artist, if Lucrezia were pleased with him. He asked not for gratitude, not for pity, but for love. He feels that pity is far more a lesser element and a lesser emotion when love is to be compared. He refers back to what he once overheard Michelangelo say of him. But apparently, Lucrezia interrupts him here, asking whom he meant by he. Andre is upset, for Angelo's words are important to him as they indicate his artistic potential. Now, these words, this inquiry from Lucrezia shows that she is not interested in whatever Andre is saying. Her mind, she is sitting before him, but she is sitting absent-mindedly. Her body is there, but her mind and soul is not present there. At the same time, Lucrezia's indifference is obvious. We see that there is this obvious indifference from Lucrezia. Andre asks her incredulously how she could have forgotten such important words. Anyway, he is content to have given up his career if only she were pleased as his love for her. Lucrezia smiles, and Andre feels that the hour he has spent with her has been memorably happy. Lucrezia smiles again at these words, and Andre tells her that if she gi- give him her company every evening, he will be inspired to paint better paintings. He asks her if she understood the implication, for it would make him earn more and also give him more money. Andre is well aware that Lucrezia would be more interested in money than in his painting better, so he tries to bribe her for her company. Further, Andre says, "See, it is settled dusk now. There's a star. Morel is gone. The watch lights show the wall. The Q owls speak the name we call them by. Come from the window, love. Come in at last. Inside the melancholy little house we built to be so gay with. God is just. King Francis may forgive me. Oft at nights when I look up from paintings, eyes tired out, the walls became illumined, brick from brick, distinct instead of mortar, fierce bright gold. That gold of his I did cement them with. Let us but love each other. Must you go?" Andre and Lucrezia has spent a long time together, and they started their this talking in evening, and now evening has passed. Andre says that, "See, it is settled dusk now. Now it is dark outside, and there's a star. Now the moon has come up and the sun has set." He says that the mountain is now invisible as night advances. The mountain Morello has gone, and the watch lights show the wall, and the watch lights are lighted up in the street. The Q owls speak the name we call them by. The Andre says there they can hear the voice of Q owls. They are hooting, and it could it can be heard even in their house. As darkness settles over the city, Andre asks Lucrezia to come away from the window into their house, which he had built for her, thinking that they would live happily in it. The figure of speech, transferred epithet, is used here. The melancholic little house. The house is shown as melancholic, but transferred in the figure of speech of transferred epithet, we see that the adjective is misplaced. It is not the house which is melancholic, but it is Andre and his wife Lucrezia living in that house they are melancholic, but instead of saying themselves to as melancholic, he says that the house is melancholic. Andre says that he built this house so that they both will live happily in that, but Andre has failed to be happy in it. It seems as if God has punished him for his dishonesty to the French king. He hopes King Francis would forgive him for using up the money which he had been given for the purchase of pictures in building the house of. Andre's conscience oft troubles him at night. When his eyes are tired from painting for long hours, he looks up at the walls and they seem to have become golden. He sees each brick distinct and it seems as if they are plastered with gold instead of cement. Here Andre wants to say that he feels guilty in his conscience, and when he is completely tired from her from his subconscious mind, the image of the gold which stole he had stolen from the French king seems plastered all over the walls instead of cement. His memory of defrauding the king's memory haunts him. He feels guilty. He hopes that at least Lucrezia would love him, that would compensate him for his suffering. And in this hope, he asks Lucrezia that let us but love each other. He wants Lucrezia that they should live in in a happy married life. Thank you.